Throughout history, African Americans have been at the bottom of both socioeconomic and racial ladders. However, in spite of numerous forms of oppression, African Americans use various forms of art as a means of resisting and coping with the struggles of daily life. Through music and dance, African Americans found solace and an outlet to release the burden that came along with being black in America.
These stone drums are indigenous to the Pikworo slave camp in Ghana. The drums were played while the enslaved were ordered to dance. This kept them fit so they would be sold at a high price. They are played nowadays to commemorate and honor the ancestors who passed through Pikworo. Songs of lament are also played to the spirits of those who were stolen and enslaved from Africa. In African and African American history, art forms have consistently been used to connect to and respect ancestors and events of the past.
From the roots of the Atlantic slave trade to human trading in America, the use of music had a crucial role in the empowerment of slaves during a deep, drawn-out period of despair. Known as Negro spirituals, these songs sung by slaves depicted a brighter tomorrow, a hopeful future, and a promise of salvation in the next life. For Africans who wanted to escape slavery, songs had another important purpose as well. They could be used to communicate. For example, many of these slave songs talked about going home or being bound for the land of Canaan. When light slavers heard the song, they thought the slaves were singing about dying and going to heaven. However, the slaves who sang were very clever. They were actually singing about going north to Canada and freedom. Because many slaves knew the secret meanings of these songs, they could be used to signal many things. Harriet Tubman used the song Wade in the Water to tell escaping slaves to get off the trail and into the water, to make sure the dogs used by slave catchers could not sniff out their scent.
Dance being a source of power goes back centuries to Africa. In some cultures, coming-of-age dances are considered to be one of the most important rituals. They are seen as a transition into another stage of life, usually adulthood. They are performed by young men who practice in seclusion for months before they finally perform in front of the community. These dancers display the power that comes with the next step in life. Dance has continuously been used as a source of power within African and African American cultures. A modern-day example of dancing acting as a rite of passage are probates within the Greek world. These are ceremonies that act as a coming out for those who are pledging the fraternity. Blind brothers will perform dance routines and will be unmasked, symbolizing their entrance into the organization. In our history, dance has been used as a means of escaping the realities of the world. It has allowed us to express ourselves in the few ways we were able to. Through dance, we could resist oppression and gain the autonomy and independence over our bodies that we always deserved.
Similar to the role of music and singing, dance and performance were forms of communication and sources of power in which slaves had over the oppressive society around them. The seemingly effortless rhythm and movement which many slaves had provided an empowering bond that could not be broken by any slave master. This connection developed the rise of communication between the numerous slaves hailing from the different regions of Africa. Prior to facing forced migration, people living in Africa were not known collectively to each other as Africans. It was the beginning of the slave trade which constructed the ethnic ideal of an African. However, the common thread of music and dance and singing and performance helped expedite the process. Over time, whites began to use this newfound power that blacks had possessed against them. This began the rise of minstrelsy. Like the myths of Mammy and Jezebel, minstrelsy fed off of a stereotype. Those stereotypes were used by whites to justify the South's dependence on slavery. Minstrelsy, on the other hand, was used to depict African Americans as content with their second-class status in the United States. However, in today's society, the struggle of regaining power and bond still occurs today. Heavily debated is the effect of hip-hop music on black culture. Are African Americans being empowered, or are they being misled? Have we lost the ability to convey black power in the arts?